Welcome back. I'm Keegan with Seared and Smoked, and today we're making marriage-saving grilled salmon. This is no joke. This is marriage-saving stuff. I don't know if this ever happens to you in the store where you're like, yeah, that ribeye looks amazing right there. And then my wife's like, we've eaten steak like 3 nights in a row. And I'm like, and there's a problem with that? And she's like, oh, I just really would like a nice piece of fish. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll make something work, I guess. I mean, whenever you go to a restaurant, is your wife orders salmon? I mean, mine does. I know like a handful of wives, just offhand I can name, that order salmon almost anywhere they see it on a menu. Make this recipe for your husband, make it for your wife. It's gonna change somebody's viewpoint on salmon, I guarantee it. My dad tried this and I don't know when the last time he ate salmon was, but he actually went out and bought a salmon fillet the same week after I made this for him, which is saying something. He's a pretty stubborn guy, so I think this is gonna work for you too. Okay, so let's talk about how to set ourselves up for success on the grill. And number one, that is picking a high quality piece of salmon. And the thicker, the better for this recipe. So you can tell that's about an inch thick or so, which is about right. If you can get it thicker, great, but that's usually kind of where it's hard to find it much thicker than that. And make sure to go to a place that sells a lot of fish so you know you're getting a fresh cut. And I prefer Atlantic salmon. It's a little more on the mild side, so if you have someone who doesn't like salmon so much, then this is a good cut to use. Atlantic salmon, skin on. All right, so our grill's heating up. It's around 500 degrees. You want it 500 or hotter. You want this pretty damn hot. So for my Weber Genesis, that's a little over medium. It gets that hot. And then when we put it on, we're just gonna turn it down a touch and flip it around 3 minutes with this big ass spatula, which is key. If you don't have a big spatula that's really, nice and big, you want to, make sure that's the width of the fish so you can get underneath there, get a good flip. We'll show you the secret to a good flip here in just a second. Okay, grill says 600, plenty hot. I've already cleaned the grill grates off, so it's nice and clean. These are stainless steel grill grates. And I think the thicker the grill grate, the better. I've used cast iron before, and that's fine too. And the way we want to lay this down is basically the thick side. So if there's a thinner side, you want the thick side facing you in this orientation, which will make it easier to flip. Beautiful. Now set your timer for 3 minutes. All right, it's time for the flip. And really the key to this is just being aggressive, nice and quick. No hesitation. We got the fat side, the thick part of the salmon facing us. And here we go. Woo! All right, not bad. Even better. So the key to this recipe is a really good barbecue rub like the one I have listed in the video description. It has some sugar in it. It's caramelizing. It's forming this nice flavor crust on the outside that gives this fish a way different texture than anything you've ever had before. Now, roughly around 5 minutes, but we want to take them off when internal temperature is 130 degrees. So the salmon's still on. When we flipped them, we turn the temperature down a little bit, but you don't want it low and slow by any means. You still want some heat coming up from the bottom of your grill. So for me on the Genesis, it's kind of like a medium-low setting, and then what that's going to do is going to crisp up that skin. So when we take it off, it's gonna have this nice crispy skin underneath. You can actually eat if you want to. If you don't, that's fine. But I dare you to try it. You just might like it. Now tell me you've ever seen fish that looks like that. That is just gorgeous. And then another way you can tell when they're getting done is that the grain of the meat will start to come out a little bit more. You can kind of see in these different areas, starting to separate just a little bit. These larger separations were kind of more from a little bit of trauma when we flipped it. but the grain will start to come out a little bit more when they're almost done, which it is now. And these are looking perfect. It's important to note that when you take the fish off, you want to be more delicate. Sometimes that skin can stick a little bit, and I found slow works out better than aggressive, unlike the previous split. So you just want to make sure you get under the skin, slowly work it out of there. And we did it. All right, let's take a closer look. I mean, it just looks so gorgeous. And this is just the way I like it, which is it's kind of falling apart. Still plenty juicy in there. Got a crisp crust from the skin on the bottom that you can eat. I dare you to try it, I really do, if you haven't. And then all that flavor built into the crust is just outstanding. All right, now it's time for the meat sweats, which normally you might not get from salmon, but it's blazing hot in Iowa here today. Got a big bite, crispy skin on the bottom, nice crust on the top. That salmon really is amazing every time. That rub with the high heat on the grill just caramelizes and makes it just so tasty. I can't describe it. It's got some sweet, some heat, some salt, and then the crispy skin on the bottom. If you're up for it, give it a shot. It's good. I'm so glad I experimented with this so I could find a recipe my wife loves, and so do I, with fish on the grill. You got to try this salmon. We'll see you next time, seared and smoked, where food always tastes better outdoors.